What is heartbreak? Well, heartbreak is a state of devastating emotional loss. While different for all of us, the intense feelings of sadness, grief, and the overwhelming sense of never being able to get past the pain are very common. Heartbreak is very real as the areas in our brain responsible for feeling physical pain light up in the same way as if you're actually in pain. So the areas of our brain, as if we're in physical pain, light up in the same way as if we're dealing with a heartbreak or heartache. It also triggers withdrawal symptoms very similar to those seen in addicts. According to some psychologists, most often heartbroken people are unknowingly grieving a loss or trauma rooted in childhood or adolescence. And the reason for that is because we tend to fall in love with people who remind us of those who cared for us, even if they cared for us badly when we were young and totally vulnerable. So many questions come along with the pain. How will I ever move on? How will I get through this? Will it ever get better? Will I ever find somebody, if that's what you want to do? You can't eat, you can't sleep, you have obsessive thoughts about your ex, and often would give an arm or a leg just to have things go back to the way that when they were good, or that you believed they were good. The unfortunate truth about heartache and heartbreak is that it sucks. Simply put, it sucks, and it's going to continue to suck until it doesn't. An important factor to remember is to measure the loss properly. A lot of people will see a breakup as a sign that they have lost everything in their lives. We often attach ourselves to other people and derive a lot of personal value and worth from the loss of the person that we were with or the relationship. Um, and therefore, when the relationship is gone or that person is no longer in our lives, we actually feel as if a significant part of us is gone or lost. But the simple mere fact is that millions of people have been through the painful stages of breakup before, and they've successfully healed their broken heart to become actually better, stronger, wiser human beings. A big trick to getting over someone is to remember that you had a life before them, and you will certainly have a life after them. Keep in mind, this isn't your first breakup. This isn't your first heartache. You've gotten over them before. Sure, they suck. Sure, there's maybe some pain from them, but you take that pain and turn it into wisdom to grow as a human. So I'm not going to spend time on breathing exercises or meditation, but please don't discount how crucial these are at helping the healing journey. So, number one, first strategy for helping get over heartache is allow yourself to feel your feelings and allow yourself some wallow time. When somebody breaks up with you or you decide to leave a relationship, you're going to feel a flood of emotions. It's traumatic, it's a shock to your system. And as with any emotional shock, you want to be really gentle with yourself and you want to allow yourself to feel your feelings. After all, your feelings are there for a reason. They can help you move through difficult experiences, but only if you release them. It's like shaking a can of soda. It's when you unscrew the top, let some of that tension out. So, in the days following a breakup, allow yourself to cry and acknowledge that the breakup is like any other type of loss. With loss comes the five stages of grief, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. You're going to go through those in your own way and in your own time. And during the process, validate your feelings by saying things like, why wouldn't I feel this way? And of course, I'm experiencing this emotion. So, again, give yourself some wallow time and validation during this whole process and journey. Which leads me to number two. Even though you are to validate yourself and allow yourself some wallow time, two is don't become your feelings. Though it's important to express your feelings, it's also important to stop short of becoming them. So if you feel sad, let yourself wallow for a certain amount of time, say an hour or two. Then cry, scream, yell, journal, do whatever you need to do to let your emotions flow freely. When those 60 minutes are up, or 2 hours, or what have you, stop, move on, and do something else. You can always allow yourself another time or more time. Just be sure to break it up so you are more in control of your feelings opposed to you becoming them. Number three, cut off communication with your ex if at all possible. Obviously, if you have children together, property, what have you, this is a little bit more difficult. And if that's the case, then talk really on an as needed basis. But there is scientific reason that heartbreak hurts so much. You actually go through withdrawal like symptoms after a breakup because the feel good hormones you get from your partner are suddenly gone. When your partner is no longer there, you start to crave those feel good hormones. If you give in to the feeling and see or talk to your ex again, you'll struggle to move forward and find yourself stuck months, maybe even years later. So remove or delete anything that triggers painful memories, like photos or texts and such. And I know it sounds brutal, but it actually does help with your healing. Don't text or call, and especially at night. Nighttime is the worst for all kinds of pain. Um, but if you want to draft a text or write one, feel free. But then delete it at that point. Write your feelings down privately. Again, feel free to journal it or delete it. Not stalk or check up on your ex or in person or on social media. Um, just managing those withdrawal symptoms is real, and it's a huge struggle. The temptation to get another hit, which is to look for them, talk to them, smell one of their articles of clothing. Um, we often want to get a hit of them, just like we would get a hit of a drug or alcohol. Anything that we're tempted to do, call them, remind them of how good it was, or ask if you miss me or whatever. Those temptations are insurmountable. But again, you're trying to break those ties. Cutting off all contact in the beginning is healthy, as it allows you to break your attachment to your ex. Now, that said, there's no hard and fast rule about contacting your ex. Like I said, if it's brief on an needed basis. Also, if your ex is mature and wise and supportive, you can also maybe reach out to them and say, hey, can we talk for a few minutes? I'm having a hard time with this breakup or such. That could be okay. But just be cautious that those innocent check-ins are habitual. And what they do is every time you check into your ex, you're opening up another energy line between the two of you. And the goal is to break those energy ties. So managing those withdrawal symptoms is a real struggle, and it's going to take a lot of work, which is why I'm going through these strategies. Number four, find a support system and just know that you're not alone. Have 2 or 3 people that you can reach out to that really care about you, that you trust, and let them know what you're going through. A lot of people love you and they want to support you. They just don't know maybe what's going on, or they're unaware, especially the day-to-day stuff. And keep in mind, whenever we are experiencing, or humans in general are experiencing heartbreak or heartache or trauma, time slows down for them. This is why a lot of times when we're going through something and we're like, my friends and family know what I'm going through, how come they're not reaching out to me? Well, life is going on for them as normal. It just happens to go at a snail's pace for those that are hurting. So opening up to others may bring catharsis in return. Most everyone has experienced a breakup at one point or another, and commiserating with them, like, sharing experiences, getting counsel, meeting, laughter, being reminded that you're not alone can be highly beneficial. As a matter of fact, being here on PPT right here is a perfect place to find online support, and otherwise. 5, exercise. We've all heard this 1,000 times, so I'm not going to stay on this long. But breaking a sweat is probably one of the best things you can do when you're wallowing. Um, Basically, the endorphins produced during exercise will help with the withdrawal symptoms post breakup, and it also helps build self-confidence. So all the way around. And exercise doesn't have to be this long 2-hour grueling thing. You can do 5 or 10 push-ups, 5 or 10 sit-ups, 5 or 10 jumping jacks, and that, call it a day. Also, remember what sucked. Number 6. A common response post breakup is to idealize the other person. And while you don't want to deny that there were some good parts and good times of your relationship, you also don't want to fixate on them. Find the middle ground, write a list of all the negative aspects of your former partner or the relationship, and look at it periodically. Now, what this mental exercise does is counterbalance all the obsessive thinking that you will probably be experiencing around what you miss about the ex. A lot of times we have this grandiose memory of being with the person, and that's where our mind takes us. But if we actually have something in writing where, some of the things we had to compromise or some of the things that, like I just said, that sucked, then that counterbalances our mind running off into rumination about all the things that we're missing out on and how this person was so perfect for us. Number 7, very important. We hear this all the time. Take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself in the midst of heartache is key. Check in with yourself throughout the day and ask yourself, what do you need or what do I need? Maybe it's a healthy salad. Maybe it's a hot bath. Maybe it's a phone call with a friend, or maybe it's punching a pillow for 10 minutes. Also, know that the feeling of rejection and diminished self-worth could trigger an unhealthy response like over or under eating or substance abuse, which could lead to a depressive spiral. This is the time where you could really build some healthy habits or some really unhealthy habits. So as much as you don't, it's very difficult to think, try and be proactive with your, and be cognizant that this is a time that you could really get into some bad habits. So really try to force yourself to get into some good habits at this time. Um, if you can call a couple friends and go on some coffee dates or something, that would be helpful. Number 8, do not judge the length of time for the healing process. I know people that have been together for a short period of time and they need a long time to heal. And then there's other people that have been together for years or decades and they seem like they're healing, quite rapidly and healthy. Don't equate the time of healing with the time of your relationship. A lot of times people are like, well, I was only with them for 6 months. Why am I so devastated? Well, simply put, because you fell in love with them in 6 months and you've gotten super attached and you started spending every day and night together for a while. Your 6 months could be like somebody else's 2 years. So don't judge your healing journey. We are creatures of habit, so we will have to grieve the habits we fell into. So whatever you feel, honor them. Honor that, whatever the feeling is, the emotion, the sadness, the despair. In truth, how long it takes to get over an ex completely depends on many factors, including what you do with your time. And I can't stress this the most, the narrative you tell yourself. Number 9, don't internalize the breakup. Sure, you were there. Sure, you were a part of it. But in the aftermath of a difficult split, avoid thinking I'm not good enough or there's something wrong with me. Instead, pinpoint the problem of the relationship. Balance your idealized memories of your ex with why they were wrong for you. You know, um, did you have to compromise in areas that you didn't care to compromise? Did you have to stop talking to some friends or family members because this person didn't, care for them? So pinpoint the relationship, pinpoint the issues in the relationship, and don't internalize that you are the reason for the wrongdoing. Number 10, identify and eliminate unhealthy behaviors. So try and understand any impulses you may be having, like texting your ex, checking their Instagram every hour, or replaying every detail of your last weekend together. These urges are a part of the natural withdrawal process that happens after heartbreak. But don't let yourself overindulge obsessive behaviors, again, like analyzing and every aspect of your relationship that'll keep you up till 4 a.m. Like I said, nighttime are beasts. Number 11 in strategizing to get over heartbreak and heartache is create new routines. Realize that breakup is likely to cause voids in your life. Say you and your ex always went to the movies every Friday. Well, now your Friday nights are wide open. Instead of wallowing alone, be proactive and call your friends and make plans. Once a week, maybe find a coffee shop or a restaurant that you've never been to and invite at least one friend to go with you. The goal is to break up your usual routine and go away from the places that you'd always go with your former partner. 12, explore old and new interests. Say you really enjoyed the outdoors, but your ex didn't. So while you're together, you cut back on your weekend hiking habit. Well, now that you're single, give yourself permission to reconnect with that interest and also explore new hobbies. Breakup and heartache and heartbreak is one of the healing factors is getting to know yourself again. So much of us has been identified with our person. We've merged with them, we've joined with them. Now it's knowing who you are again. You've grown since you last were single, so now you're a different person with different interests. Get to know them. Take it, take intentional steps to move forward with your life, like joining a new gym, signing up for a pottery class, or reconnecting, like I said, with old friends or family members that you sacrificed being with your ex. If you're going to try and heal, you need to take steps to heal. Energy in motion is energy in motion. So, that energy in motion in a healthy way, and it'll just continue. 13, accept that closure is something you may need to find on your own. Sometimes you're not going to get the closure you need from your ex, and you'll have to find it on your own. If your partner couldn't explain the reason for the breakup, create your own healthy narrative. You might not be able to get closure because maybe they're not talking to you, or maybe you're too upset to talk with them, or maybe you don't know their contact, or maybe they're deceased. And if that's the case, come up with your own healthy narrative. Uh, 14, if you decide to date, I'd highly suggest you don't for a little while, but if you do decide to date, do so cautiously. After getting your heart trampled, it can be tempting to instantly download Tinder and search for a rebound. And as tempting as that may be, you don't want to push yourself before it's time just to avoid feeling your feelings, because most likely they're going to come back and bite you. At the same time, re-entering the dating scene could provide a healthy confidence boost for your bruised ego. Just be honest with yourself and the people you're dating about where you are emotionally. If you're not fully over your ex and simply looking just for a fling, be honest and say so. Number 15, trust the pain won't last forever. However, however much pain that you're experiencing, try to believe that this too shall pass. Like I said, you've gotten over heartbreak before, you've gotten over loss before. When you're in the thick of heartbreak, it could be hard to imagine that you could ever feel otherwise. But time and work does tend to heal most, or if not all wounds. Again, it depends on that energy that proactive energy that you're doing to work on this healing journey. Number 16, and this is a little bit more down the road, reflect on the positive things. In the long run, the breakup shouldn't paint the whole relationship. As the pain subsides, consider the good you got out of it. Embrace the excitement of new possibilities and remind yourself of how awesome you are. And number 17, start believing. See the breakup as a positive change in your life. Perhaps you didn't deserve this insensitive person and you deserve someone better, which is why he or she is not in your life anymore. On the brighter side, that person left has made a place for someone whom you actually sincerely do deserve. Remember what I just told you before, you are worthy of love, and that in time you will find someone again, if that's your goal, if that's your mission, if that's your interest. So cheers to the ending that unintentionally led to a beautiful beginning, whether that's discovering yourself again, new paths, new journeys, new excitements, new careers, new relationship. Number 18, and this is final, take back your personal power. Get back to your own personal power as soon as you can. You may not be able to control what your ex does, but you can control your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. You can choose to see this relationship for the gift it was. It was just not there to cause pain. It was there to help you evolve through this journey of life. Learn to love and learn to let go. Life is made up of a collection of moments, people, and relationships that are not ours to keep. The pain we encounter comes from the illusion that some moments can be held onto. Clinging to people and experiences that never belonged to us in the first place is what caused us to miss the beauty of our own life in this moment. Like I said, love and learn to let go. Love and let go. It's one of the most powerful lessons we are meant to learn in this life. Now, keep in mind, like I was saying before, when we are with somebody, it is almost like an addiction. When we are away from them, we would do anything for that fix. It's going to take work, it's going to take time, and it's going to suck until it doesn't. So I'm going to end this class with a quote by C.S. Lewis. And what he said was, getting over painful experience is much like crossing monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward.